Let me know when we're good.
So then we're going to fade down the music.
Oh, okay. Oh. No, I don't want. We're at ClawCon Michigan. I'm here with Dan Fader, who oversees investments at Michigan, the Michigan Endowment, and so made this possible tonight. So
I was here, and I had an idea, and then I feel a little bit like, you ever see the movie Caddyshack, where the end of it, everything blows up, and Bill Murray kind of walks away like, what the hell did I just do? This is amazing. There's an idea, all these people came together, put this thing together. It's remarkable. We had over 2,700 people sign up.
Yeah,
it's bananas. And wait, where the hell did you get that hat?
Oh yeah, do you see this? Go blue.
That's some swag. I want one of those.
Yeah, we'll get. Well, I think we might know somebody.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Well, tonight we have a bunch of demos that are going to start in half an hour, so stay tuned.
You bet. Absolutely.
Great. Sweet. Okay. Okay, I'm back here with Mark Moika from Ann Arbor Claw, who oversees the OpenClaw meetup in Ann Arbor. And Mark, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So how'd you hear about OpenClaw?
January. At the end of January, I heard about on Twitter. It was getting a lot of attention. So naturally, I decided, I gotta take a look at this. And like most people, I kind of dismissed it at first. I had that developer mindset. And the second day, I thought about it more, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, there's got to be something more to this. So I tried it again with I was live streaming on a Discord channel, showing people how to set it up. And then I connected it to a frontier model. And then the lights went crazy.
Cool. So what was that lights moment? Like what were you doing, or what do you have it doing now for you that kind of like shows the magic for you?
Controlling my computer, that was what I was after. And probably my aha moment was when I was on my way to New York. I had it call me on my phone. And so What we did is I just told it, hey, go and figure out how to do it, and don't bother me until you're done. And 5 minutes later, I get a phone call. My phone was like, no way. And I was traveling with someone. We were just like, no way, this is it. I pick it up. Hello, this is your lobster agents calling for a test. I was like, no!
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, tell me about the OpenClaw meetups that you're running here in Ann Arbor, and you had mentioned that you have interest in having more in Michigan. So tell me more about that.
We just started. We have about 2 meetings a month. One is a social, and one is a presentation going forward. Having only 1 meeting a month is not enough. There's so much happening every day. So in Lansing, there's another group that's starting, and we're trying to get the one in Detroit going as well. So if you're interested, reach out to me. We'll help you out.
Great. Well, thanks so much for coming, and exciting to see you presenting tonight. Is that correct? What are you presenting?
I'll be introducing Clawable.
Cool. Do you want a sneak peek?
It's a local vibe coding tool.
Sweet. Thanks so much, Mark. Really appreciate you coming out. No problem. Let me know. OK, now we're here with Brandon from Pursuit.us. Brandon, thanks so much for sponsoring ClawCon Michigan today.
Hello.
So I got a question. Why did you want to sponsor today?
Yeah, Pursuit is a local startup in Ann Arbor, and we thrive ourselves on being super AI forward. So anything AI we want to be involved in, and OpenClaw is a huge part of that.
That's amazing. So can you tell me more about your OpenClaw setup or how you've been using OpenClaw?
Yeah, so the idea is every employee gets their own OpenClaw instance and like free reign to do whatever you can do that increases efficiency at the company. So we have a couple of people that have it doing automatic reports and answering customer success tickets, and just anything is possible nowadays.
That's awesome. And anything else you want to say to the crowd before we go?
We're hiring. We just raised a Series A, so come talk to me.
Great. Well, thanks so much for, once again, Pursuit.us for sponsoring. Great. No problem. Okay, now we're here with Adrian. Adrian is a venture capitalist from Mac, and he's here. He got the invite to ClawCon Michigan and decided to come all the way from Menlo Park here. So welcome to Michigan.
Thank you. I wouldn't have missed it. We've got companies that are founded by Michigan grads, and a lot of my co-investors are Michigan grads. So I'm not going to miss this opportunity to make some more money and be successful.
Amazing. And then, have you been here before?
Yeah, my son's twin boys graduated here in 2023, so I have been to the Big House and the Den and lots of other places in Ann Arbor for many years.
Amazing. And then, have you heard of OpenClaw beforehand?
Yeah, for sure. We invest in all kinds of software and technology, including AI, and it's been a great revolution, and we're really just hopeful it continues. And I'm going to learn from some of the engineers and business people here, and hopefully make some good investments to follow up on it.
Amazing. Thanks so much for coming out, and hopefully you find people that are they're presenting all across stage. You can go meet them, potential investments and entrepreneurs.
All right.
Thanks so much for coming out. Go Blue. Okay, now I'm here with Kurt from the Center of Entrepreneurship at Michigan. Kurt, thanks. I think you were a big part of making this happen today, so thanks so much.
Yeah, it's been really exciting to play a small role in bringing this here. This is an amazing time to be in tech, amazing time to be developing AI, and we know the future is agentic, and we're going to make it happen here.
So speaking of agentic, there's some sort of institute of sorts being announced today. Do you want to let people at home or even in the audience know about it beforehand?
Well, the press release is out. We're going to be founding the Institute for Agentic Computing here and work with the OpenClaw Foundation and our faculty to build out the technology and discover new things and set standards and make the technology available to everybody.
That's so awesome, spreading it across. And I heard there was a class being taught on OpenClaw?
Yeah, so there's new class offerings starting this fall and a bunch of other activities. We got a hackathon around agentic technologies that'll start tomorrow with our partners at Major League Hacking. And no, this is the time. It's super.
That's awesome. Thanks so much. And one last thing. What is your favorite example of use case of OpenClaw that you've come across?
I like things that move. I like the autonomous robots.
Amazing. Thanks so much. Hopefully we see some autonomous robots tonight. stand over here. Okay, I just walked across and I saw this lovely people with Meet Match AI. So Meet Match AI, what's up? Annie, Brenton, what's going on? What brought you to ClawCon Michigan?
Yeah, we have this new product called MeetMatch.ai, and it's really useful for sales teams of any size to improve their sales routing. It connects your salespeople with the best client match to improve your chances of actually making those sales. And we also predict whether a client will show up or not to a meeting so that you aren't wasting your time. And we loop that in with a bunch of other features that things like Calendly and Zoom and Google Calendar already have, for a better price. So you get like all those benefits and more with this like AI-powered system for a better price.
Cool, that's awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming out. Are you excited about anything to see or about learn about OpenClaw?
Yeah, I think he would probably love it.
Yeah, I'm just super excited to see all the demos today. Yeah, see what people are building. Yeah, just see what people are building.
Because we do have an integration with OpenClaw. That helps, like when you wake up in the morning, you can see the, how your day has gone overnight. If there have been any sales, you can communicate with the chat bot, and it will send you these great summaries that help you just prepare for your sales day ahead and like go into it very confidently.
Cool. Meet Match AI. Thanks so much for coming out. So I'm here with Rick from TeamClaus. TeamClaus, what does TeamClaus do?
Yeah, so TeamClaus makes it easy to deploy OpenClaw in the cloud. Anybody, technical or non-technical, can deploy OpenClaw in 5 to 10 minutes, basically, on their own private VPS. All you need is a Google account and an OpenAI Codex account. We'll have you up and running in OpenClaw in a clean cloud environment in about 10 minutes.
Sweet. And now, how do you use OpenClaw?
I use OpenClaw primarily for clearing out my inbox, for helping to manage my calendar, and then also for like, I'm starting to integrate it into code updates, but that's a little bit more delicate. It's doing a great job so far, though, I have to say.
Great. So tell me more about the code updates. So what are you exploring now?
Oh, yeah, well, I give it an identity in GitHub, and I have it basically clean up a lot of the stuff that I don't have time to work on or my dev team doesn't have time to work on. So like you assign it small bugs and things like that. The best way is to assign it like busy work and stuff you don't like doing, get it on an approval system, and start getting those stuff out of your way. So all the things that would stack up, you can get rid of those very, very quickly.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for coming out, Rick. Really appreciate it. And yeah, looking forward to checking out TeamClaus.
Yeah, thanks. Rick with TeamClaus.com.
Nice. This thing on? Hello, everybody. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. If you can hear me, clap 3 times. So we're about to get started. So people in the back, come to the front. People on the sides, come to the front. If there are empty seats next to you, try to scoot into the middle so people can come in and seat. We're getting ready to have a great time tonight. So if you're right now engaged in any demos or learning about new things, take a pause. We're going to have demos afterwards. And we'll get started shortly. So let's fill in the seats. Thanks so much, everyone, for coming out. What up, ClawCon Michigan? Let's go, people in the front. Let's find seats. Let's find seats. What is going on? This is the largest crowd I've been in front of. So thanks so much for making that happen. So tonight, you're probably here because you heard about this thing called OpenClaw, and you want to ride the claw. There's some, hail to the claw up in here. And so I kind of wanted to sort of give sort of backstory of how we started this thing. The way we started was I was hosting these meetups in San Francisco, 20, 30 people. We were talking about Claude Code at the time. And what happened was we had ClaudeBot launched. And when ClaudeBot launched, I was like, oh, I'm going to have a meetup for my friends out of my friend's office. And we're going to talk about ClaudeBot. So I posted in the Discord that was opened up. There were a couple hundred people in the Discord at the time. And I said, I'm happy to host. I hosted a Claude Code meetup. Here's the link. So in that time, Peter Steinberger was like, oh, if you have it in the first week of February, I'll come by. So we decided to have it 2 weeks later. And I found a spot. And we didn't know how many people would show up. We thought it was going to be 10 to 20 people show up. There's definitely more than 10 to 20 people in this room right now. So there are 10 to 20 people in San Francisco. And what was wild was, in a matter of a week, we then had 200 people. And Dave Morin, who's here, shout out to Dave, he texted me. He's like, hey, we got to make merch. And so we made merch. Dave made it happen. And so we made this merch, right? But tonight, we have a different merch. So we're rocking the blue. And so what was crazy was the thing with, like, OpenClaw became, or ClaudeBot became, Moltbot became OpenClaw, all in the span of those 2 weeks. And so we had a bunch of people around the block in San Francisco. We had to have multiple floors. We had about 1,300 people register. We have more than 1,300 people in this room, which is amazing. And it was nuts. What was crazy about that room was the energy. And I want to just talk about the energy in that room. Dave and I have known each other for 20 years. And for us, it was like totally normal. It was like, oh, you're just hanging out, geeking out, nerding out over stuff. But people came over to us and said, this is the first time I've ever experienced something like this. This is the first time I've been able to come to an event and just talk about the things that I'm interested in. And it was palpable. Like, people are used to going to events, and it's like a recruiting event or a trade show or something like that. But this was different. People were just truly excited about talking about what they built with their bot, what their bot built for them. And it was truly, truly remarkable. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. Dave and I were texting all night, and then I posted to X at 2:30 in the morning. I was like, what cities should we have this next? And we've been all over. It's been a wild ride. It's been 4 weeks. And we've already had events in New York, Madrid, Austin. We had LA this week, which was nuts. And you can see all the events on the website. But we're here in Michigan tonight. So give it a round of applause for everyone who came in the rafters over there for coming out tonight to Michigan. And so it's been wild. Like, people are still trying to figure out, like, what's going on. My favorite press title was, who's excited to be replaced by AI? These guys. And I think people still don't get it. Like, we're not trying to replace people with AI. We're trying to empower people with AI. And it's the first time you have AI that's personalized for you, that you can customize on your own. And so it's completely different. And right now, this is like I said, the largest room, but it's still very early. Like, if you're here tonight, it's still very early. And I think there's a lot of people in this room that are going to push forward the future of personal AI. So I'm excited to meet everyone, so come over and say hi afterwards. And so what we're doing with this ClawCon is we're having these global chapters around. We're trying to get sponsors. Shout out to all those sponsors tonight. You can read them up on the Jumbotron. But helping support this movement around people who are just interested in personal AI and trying to sort of take back AI from the big labs. And So we see ClawCon as this personal festival, so thanks so much for coming out. But you don't need to have a ClawCon. Like, you can have their meetups. You're going to meet Mark here tonight. Mark, runs the Ann Arbor Claw. There's going to be, OpenClaw events all over. You can go to luma.com/claw. You can see it's a global movement right now. So you have a specific interest around, personalized AI in a specific field or industry, and we'll learn about tonight about science, movements, and robotics. You can have your own meetups. You don't need to have it here, but you can have it, local coffee shops. You can have it at different places. So, with that said, it's important to meet in person because we still don't know where we are in this timeline. We're like living it in real time, and so it's places like this where you can come together and talk to people of similar interests, and sort of try to figure it out together. So, thanks again for coming out, and would love a round of applause for everyone in attendance. Thank you. So we have a bunch of cool stuff that's happening, and I want to sort of go through the thing. We have a special announcement that's going to be made. So we'd love to bring Dan Fader onto the stage, as well as, Dave Morin, Britt Morin, Steve. If you're all on stage, great.
All right, first thing, obviously it's not super carefully choreographed, but this isn't a convention. So the other thing is I feel like really underdressed right now, and I'm hoping that maybe, like Yanni, maybe I could just borrow that for a sec. But this is really, really pretty remarkable. Thanks.
You gotta look your best.
This is as good as it gets, so for me anyway. It was great seeing the evolution of ClawCon, but you probably didn't know that lobsters date back to about 500 million years, to the Cambrian period, and there are somewhere around 2 billion lobsters in existence, maybe as many as 4 billion. About half of those or so are American lobsters, but this is not coincidence, it is destiny. The most rare and most valuable lobsters out there are blue lobsters. They are 1 in a million.
Woo-hoo!
So the other thing is that, as you mentioned, OpenClaw is only about 6 months old. And it took 500 million years for actual lobsters to get to this point. It's taken 6 months for there to be somewhere tens of millions of these OpenClaw instances out there. And it's going super fast. Humans did not pass lobsters until somewhere in the late 1800s, early 1900s. We're on pace where OpenClaws are going to pass actual lobsters in the next year or two, and probably humans, maybe around that time, not that far after. The Cambrian explosion around OpenClaw is going faster than the one around lobsters, and that's why it feels ridiculous for me to say we, and talking about the University of Michigan when I'm the only one up here, because there's so many people that made this possible today, and I'll get to that in a second. But this Cambrian explosion is super important, and this age of, as you said, MSG, of agentic computing is just really, really important, because the irony of it is that these agents are going to create much, much more agency for humans and for research and for science and the things that are important. So I'm going to just cut to what's the run of the show today. This is not a convention. This is a gathering. Stick around. We will have an appearance by the bot father himself at the end, Peter Steinberger, who is the developer of OpenClaw. There are 3 things, actually 2, but maybe 3 that I think are important. We're going to talk about them with Dave, Britt, and when they come up on stage, and Steve. The first is we are investing heavily into this. So I work in the endowments investment office, and we have put ourselves in the position of being a founding investor in a newly formed company called the Lobster Compute Company that was founded by Dave and Britt's firm called Offline Ventures, and this is going to be an important platform for investing in people like you and companies and developers and in the OpenClaw project itself. We're super proud of that. As part of that, and as an outgrowth of that, the University of Michigan is announcing, and there'll be more of that tonight, an Institute for Agentic AI. This is an institute that is not just for OpenClaw, but is very, very attached to OpenClaw because OpenClaw is the most important agentic AI platform in the world and will be that, and Michigan wants to be involved there. And there are two things. You'll see a QR code go up around here. Pay attention to it. It'll come back around and around. Two things, one near term, one longer term for the Institute. The Institute will be a place for gathering and recruiting and coordinating the people who are going to be maintaining this very, very important technology, the OpenClaw platform. So sign up if you are interested. There you go. And the longer term vision, and Karthik Durasamy will come up soon after this fireside to talk about work that the Institute will be doing in really important scientific research and things that were just not possible in, even in the last several years by deploying agentic AI. So this is really an important gathering. It's a place where we're announcing investments, infrastructure, and this ClawCon itself is it's about community, and you are all in the right place at the right time, and you are the right people. This story has gone very, very fast. It starts March 20th when a group of people got together. We're part of a group called the Commercial Partnerships Advisory Board for the university's CFO, Bobby Hewlett. And the idea behind that advisory board is to do exactly this, is to activate the university to do great things across many areas, and the people involved in that. And the reason I'm going through the people is because many of them are here, and you should find them, and you should figure out what they're doing and how you can work with them. Skip Lupia is the Vice President of Research. Kelly Sexton is the head of Tech Transfer in our Innovation Partnerships area. Steve Secchio in School of Engineering. Keith Dickey is the head of Strategy for Michigan Medicine. Kurt Skifstad is the head of our Center for Entrepreneurship. Greg Latterman leads the Zell Lurie Institute for Entrepreneurship at the Ross Business School. Chris Kolb in Government Relations. Drew Smith in Finance. Andu Orzor in the investment office. And there's one person who's part of this skunkworks group that's touched every piece of everything we've done here and has been a leader in every piece of that. And her name is Nadia McIntosh, and she's a great colleague of mine. So thank you, Nadia. We also recruited in a great group of people. They volunteered themselves or were volunteered happily. Mike Drake, Emily Dickman, Dakayla Witten, Karthik Durasamy, all of engineering, Brad Orr in research, Nick Moroz, Karen Van Ripper in Center for Entrepreneurship, Julia Ross in the Zell Lurie Institute, Sarah Herwick in the investment office. That's just the beginning because we're going to lean on a number of people to go from here. This is a start line. People like Ravi Pensy in the information and technology services area and others. And then obviously everybody who's made this possible today in facilities and security and food services and everybody, they are heroes tonight. So please, acknowledge their contributions, which is super important. And then also, the sponsorship of this event tonight is not sponsorship out of vanity. It's sponsorship by people and by organizations who really care about OpenClaw and want to be and are part of the development of this community and this project. Zoe Computer and Kilo Code are sponsors across all these OpenClaws. Y Combinator, the greatest accelerator for startups, are here. You should find them if you're starting a company. eLabs is a fantastic venture firm that you'll see is presenting a really novel way of doing a startup prize. That'll be presented later this evening. DeepGram, it's a globally important and founded in Ann Arbor company around speech AI. Ann Arbor Spark, who runs Ann Arbor Claw. Song United, started by Doug Song, a real hero of this community and a co-founder of Duo Security. Pursuit AI, doing great work around making governments work better, especially the way that governments procure and look for services. Jeki Labs, which is a University of Michigan-based team building customized AI solutions. Move Detroit, you should know them. If you're going to build in Detroit, they want you there. And we will be passing around, and you should, this is not our t-shirt toss, but it's our version of it. There are pounds and pounds of Ruse Roast coffee, and the flavor that's most famous there is lobster butter love, and so that will be going around tonight. And the other thing that everyone who lives in Ann Arbor should know is that the best lobster bisque is served at La Dog on Main Street every Thursday and Friday. So that's all out of the way. And one last very, very important thing, if we ran out of hats, use that same QR code that you would use for applying to be a maintainer, and we will be not letting anybody go home, or if they go home without a hat, they will find a way to get a hat. This is the best swag, I think, going. With that, I want to bring up three really amazing people, two founders of Offline Ventures, Dave Morin and Britt Morin, who are also, Dave is also the one and only, I think, still board member of the OpenClaw Foundation, and Steve Secchio from engineering. This will be the easiest. Is this on? Yeah, okay. This is
bright lights.
Hey,
Hi.
big bright light.
I've never
big
spoken
city.
on a stadium floor before.
How's everyone doing?
Woo! Wait,
Yeah.
raise your hand if
You
you've
have to get
never
energy
used
going in a
OpenClaw.
stadium.
Raise your hand if you've never, because I want to welcome the noobs here. Yes, good. This is amazing. You're claw curious. We like that.
This is the easiest fireside because I'm just going to start. I'm going to ask one question, and then you guys are just going to talk. So I'll just start out with Dave and Britt. What were you doing in November of last year, and what in the world is happening with your lives now, and what are you doing? Where are you going?
We can answer the first question, but not what's happening now. Dave, do you want to take it?
Yeah, you know, in December, it was more December of this year, last year, I was at home in Montana for the holidays, and we were hanging out with our kids, and an old friend of mine from the 90s who I'm in a group chat with sent me a message and said, hey Dave, you need to check out this ClawBot thing, which was the prior name of OpenClaw. And I installed it and immediately fell in love and was absolutely taken by how powerful this technology is and how well it fit my brain. And immediately I was just like struck by that. One of the first times I felt that feeling was when I was 7 years old and my grandfather brought home a Macintosh computer, and I got to play with it and fell in love with the personal computer, which led to my entire life being dedicated to building personal technology. And so that's where I was at the end of last year, and that's what led to reaching out to Peter and starting to work together with Peter to start the OpenClaw Foundation and MSG and this entire movement.
And what's happening now is we have agents spawning agents, and our lives are becoming automated in so many interesting ways. But to Dave's point, it's really become the foregrounds of what we believe is the future of personal AI, where you can own all of your data, you can train an agent to do things for you, and the models are the models in the background, and OpenClaw is really the first type of platform that gives you that opportunity.
We have this guy from the University of Michigan sitting here who's been just a great collaborator for a number of things that we've done at the university. And this is, as MSG said, the first ClawCon at a university. And so why is that important to you, Steve, and what your experience at Michigan and what this means?
Awesome. Well, first of all, I want to say this is almost the most important thing that's happened in the basketball stadium this year. So I just want to recognize that.
Yeah, we've got engineering
it's
on
almost,
the court.
Almost is the most important thing. Well, in the current position I'm in, we're dealing a lot with both the opportunities and challenges of AI in pedagogy and in research. And if you just read the newspapers, you can see that there's a lot of folks who are both entranced and enraptured with the potential of AI. And I think today's event really illustrates what that can be. But also there's a lot of folks that are worried. And I think that events like this can help, and the university at large can help, communicate to the broader community what AI is and what it isn't, how it can help, how it can be of service and benefit, and to cope with whatever challenges that it may bring. And in order for us to do that successfully, we have to think differently about how we interact with the broader community. This is an example of how the University of Michigan, our students and faculty, and our thought leaders can interact with the broader community, not just here in Ann Arbor, but around the country and the world. So before I hand off the mic, how many of you are students here? Okay.
Wow, amazing.
Just say woo. We can't see you. There's too many lights. Woo. Okay. How many of you are just interested in the ClawBots and are here because this is a great place to be? Right. That's exactly what we want. That we want to get everyone together.
I'm glad you brought up how much fear there is about AI. A study came out 2 weeks ago that AI is less popular in America than ice. And a big reason for that is all you read about in the news is the scary story. Is this going to take my job? Is this going to cause harm to society? And our mission at the OpenClaw Foundation is to bring people closer to AI. We think that this is a fun, amazing technology that if given the right tools, like OpenClaw, to use AI, you can build anything you want. You can build a business. You can hire, employees that are claws. You can come up with anything. You can make anything, and you can create your own future. And you can do it in a fun and interesting environment. And so a lot what we're trying to do is make it fun, make it weird, destigmatize AI. This is the most amazing revolution since the beginning of computing. And everyone's excited that they can just speak English now to computers. For the last 30 to 50 years, in order to speak to computers, you had to be one of the lucky 10 million people in the world that learned these esoteric languages to make the apps that now 6 billion people use. And so the idea that more people are going to be empowered to create software, to create the apps that we all love and use every single day, to me is the greatest opportunity that's ever happened. And so I think that's a really important thing about the mission of what we're trying to do.
And it literally could be you. MSG, who is emceeing tonight, told me that at a recent ClawCon, a woman came. She's not an engineer. She's never played with AI before. Fast forward, she created a real estate app and company and now has 400 paying users. And so this is happening fast. It's not that hard to learn, and you don't have to have a technical background. You just have to have curiosity and the willingness to lean in.
So I think we only have time for one more question, and I'm going to ask it. So a thing that is just in the news a lot about OpenClaw and Foundation and so forth. OpenClaw is an open source platform, and sometimes you see headlines about somebody's buying OpenClaw or somebody's ruling it. And I think it'd just be super important to help clarify some of that confusion, which is around like, what is the foundation? What's the role of the foundation? And also, why is it that it's important to be here and have people, you people and others, involved in maintaining and developing and building this platform?
Yeah, I mean, the important part about the foundation is that OpenClaw is open source, it's free, it's open. Anyone in this audience and in the world can contribute code. You can contribute to the core OpenClaw code and become part of what everybody, like Dan said in the beginning, we think there's over 10 million claws out there in the world these days. And in order to make it free and open, we had to establish a nonprofit foundation. We're incredibly proud that Michigan is supporting that foundation. And being here, being part of this, the only way we can make this work is if we all work together. And so I think that's the most important thing about it, is that open source has always been the power of the community, the power of the people, your ability to download the software, put it on your own computer, configure it however you want. If you want to put it on a Raspberry Pi and pay no money to run it with a local model, you can do that. If you want to put it on a sophisticated AI computer and pay for thousands of dollars of tokens from OpenAI every month to do it, you can do that too. But it's free and open for everyone, and the only way it stays that way is if we all work together.
So we have some demos coming up, and we really want to get those rolling. I do have one thing that's super important that I know, Britt, you are really long Texas football, and Dave, you're all in on Coach Prime of Colorado, but it's all about changing people's minds, and so I think this is really important that the two of you have this token of appreciation from the last national championship.
Oh my gosh.
We have become huge football fans.
We've been
at
to
Michigan the last 2 years.
2 seasons of games, and we already have the tickets for next season, so we're down.
Thank you, Dan.
And then
I have just one more thing to say. I want to thank Dan Fader for all the hard work that he's done to make this happen. And I'm sure he'll get thanked more than once, but I wanted to do it too. Thank you, Dan.
And I'll double down on that. OpenClaw would not be where it is today without Dan. So we're so grateful to Dan and to the University of Michigan.
And I'll end on this, but you all are the builders of the future. This is the first university to lean in like this, to establish the first donation to the foundation, the Institute of Agentic Computing, like investments in people building and new companies that will rise up within this economy. And so all of you are the first to be there, and I hope you don't take that opportunity lightly.
Go Blue.
Thank you. Yes, go Blue. And we have Karthik Durasamy to kick off our demos.
How's everyone doing? Feeling okay? Wonderful. You guys are probably like, who in the world are you? This is where I typically hang out. I'm the host for men's basketball, football, the Detroit Tigers here in Michigan. My name is Zach Linfield, proud alum of the University of Michigan. So go Blue, of course. I come in here with genuine curiosity about what you guys are interested about. I'm a sports nut. I'm a sports head, played sports, was decent in school, right? But here we are at the Chrysler Center where we've done beautiful things in these past few weeks. So the University of Michigan continues to revolutionize how we do almost everything in the world. And I'm super excited to present our first demonstration of the day because I'm just as curious as you guys are. This is our keynote demonstration, Scientific Discovery in the Age of Decentralized Agents. This is Karthik Durasamy, Professor of Aerospace Engineering, Director of Michigan Institute of Computational Discovery and Engineering, and his partner, Fiona Wang, PhD student of Biological Engineering at MIT.
Thank you. I think this is supposed to come up. All right, great, thank you. So as Dave and Dan mentioned, so the OpenClaw Foundation and the University of Michigan are partnering to create the Institute for Agentic Computing, right? So what does this institute do? That is obviously the core work of developing OpenClaw and keeping it open source and helping people from all over the world build applications on top of it, right? So the idea is, this will advance not just agentic computing, but scientific discovery, engineering, and the broader knowledge economy. So while the institute will be developing the core infrastructure and extending applications to many disciplines, we also want you to think about it as a portal to the entire agentic world, right? So along these lines, we're happy to announce a list of founding affiliates, the University of Chicago, MIT, and Fiona's gonna present a couple of things in a couple of minutes, and Rescale, which is a unicorn with a University of Michigan founder, and they're leaders in high-performance computing. All right, so give me a minute and a half before, Fiona, why don't you come up to the stage? So I just want to spend a couple of minutes giving you additional context, right? So everybody on the stage talked about personal AI, but I also want you to think about the fact that every personal tool became transformative because it became social, right? So we used language to coordinate our ideas beyond an immediate group, right? Printing made sure ideas are represented without any bottlenecks. And agents now, all of cognition becomes distributed, right? So just think about the power of social aggregation. My last slide before I yield the stage. So OpenClaw is, the way I think about it, is an operating system for the agentic world. So you're going to see many examples today in agents reducing personal friction, improving productivity. But to me, the most exciting part is agents actually export cognitive infrastructure, right? So they can carry skills and the scientific process to the entire world. You don't have to be sitting in an ivory tower gated university. Skills-equipped OpenClaw and ScienceClaus, as we're going to show you, can be used by anybody, right? So you don't have to be sitting in an ivory tower, be a scientist to do science. And I think that's the spirit in which I want you to think about this. So Fiona is going to do a demo, and I'm just going to give you a short introduction to the demo. So the demo that Fiona is going to show is incredible in the sense that you can be a citizen scientist, and earlier, citizen scientist used to mean maybe you count some birds and then you report on a website and somebody uses that, right? But now you can do science, right? If you're sitting looking at an insect wing and you're sitting somewhere thinking about music, ScienceClaw can actually help port insights from those domains and actually help you build interesting things, okay? So that is the demo that Fiona is going to show. So she's a PhD student at MIT, and she's one of the core developers of ScienceClaw, and she's going to show a very interesting short demo. All right, Fiona.
Thank you, Karthik, for the warm introduction, and very glad to be here. My name is Fiona, and I'm supervised by Marcus Buehler at the MIT Laboratory for Atomistic and Molecular Mechanics. And today I'm going to share with you about our recent project on ScienceClaw and Infinite. Modern science is largely organized around individuals, one researcher, one lab, or one perspective. But the problems we care about today are too complex and interconnected for any single mind to fully navigate. So here, we ask a crucial question. What if discovery is driven not by individuals, but by coordinated systems of intelligence? To understand how we get there, it helps to look at how AI is evolving. We've moved from fixed systems that reproduce known patterns to generative models that explore learned spaces, and now to emergent swarms that are systems of interacting agents that adapt and update each other in real time. Unlike earlier systems, these don't just generate outputs. They interact, refine, and collectively shape the direction of exploration. This is where discovery and creativity begin. And this shift mirrors how progress has happened in human history. Our brains haven't fundamentally changed, but our ability to coordinate has. From small groups to large-scale scientific communities, progress came from organizing intelligence across many contributors. The key driver is not just intelligence itself, but how it is structured and connected. And biology provides a clear example. So simple agents like ants, they interact locally, but produce complex global outcomes. They don't have a central controller, and intelligence emerges from their interaction. This becomes our guiding idea. Instead of centralizing reasoning, we distribute it. To bring this idea into scientific discovery, we built a system called ScienceClaw. It breaks scientific reasoning into more than 300 modular skills, from simulation to literature mining to design and structural analysis. These are distributed across a decentralized network of agents, each specialized, but able to coordinate with others. Together, they generate hypotheses, test them, and refine them. Because agents can interact, branch, and recombine, discovery becomes a dynamic, evolving process rather than a fixed pipeline. If you want to know more about the technical details of the setup, we can talk afterwards. So once running, the system executes the full discovery loop. Some agents identify patterns across domains. Some translate them into design rules, and others generate candidate structures. These are then evaluated and simulated, allowing the agent swarm to explore regions of design space that are difficult to reach through traditional human workflows. We will also show a more detailed demo on the agentic workflows later. And when we apply this to a very particular problem, which is resonance systems that are structures that control vibration and sound, we map biology, materials, and music into a shared representation, as shown on the left here. This reveals clusters of known designs and regions that are largely unexplored. The system targets one of these gaps, generates a new structure, and validates it through simulation. These types of structures can enable ultrasensitive sensors, improve medical ultrasound, and more efficient ways to control and direct energy. To make this accessible, we are building the infinite corridor of science. And shown here is a picture of the infinite corridor at my home school, MIT. But Infinite here is a public-facing platform where these investigations are shared and explored. Each result is fully traceable, and you can follow how agents interact, inspect the reasoning, and click into examples to build on top of them. So in this way, science becomes something we can navigate and extend, and not just read. We call this the infinite corridor of science, which is a persistent environment where humans and AI collaborate continuously. The goal is not just faster science, but a new way science is done. If you're interested to explore more, feel free to join the corridor at this website and also scan the QR code, which leads you to the open source GitHub repository of this project. And with that, I will end my presentation here, and thank you for your attention.
Everyone, one more time, one huge hand for Karthik and Fiona for our keynote demonstration. Seems like you guys are prepared. Yeah. Demonstration number 2, that's going to come from Ben Guo and a proud sponsor of ClawCon. Please welcome Zo Computer.
Hey everybody, what's up Michigan? It's very surreal to be here. This is like the biggest stage I've ever spoken at. It's really exciting. So we're going to talk about OpenClaw and Zo Computer, which I'll tell you about. Just a brief intro. My name is Ben. I'm the co-founder of Zo Computer. My career started really at Stripe in 2015. I worked there for 8.5 years. And I have Jamie here, actually, who is a Michigan alum. She'll be speaking later. But we're giving away $100 in AI credits to try Zo. It's a really awesome tool. It's kind of like OpenClaw, but for regular people, for normies. It's very easy to set up. There's really no setup. The kind of bigger picture is that Zo is like OpenClaw, but it's so much more than that. Kind of like the mission here is really kind of grounded in the idea that the internet today is kind of shitty. We kind of like use all of these tools, like these SaaS services that monetize our data and our attention, and that's not how it was supposed to be. The internet was supposed to look more like this. We were supposed to have real homes on the internet, and that's what we're building with Zo Computer. We're building the personal cloud, the cloud for everyone. It's the home for your tools, your data, your files, and your agent. And on it, you can kind of host things, and you can interact with other AIs, your friends, your coworkers, and I'll tell you more about that in this little presentation. So Zo, kind of at first, when you log in, it's this kind of like beautiful AI workspace. You can use any AI model. We offer kind of free inference as well on open source models, which are improving a lot and getting a lot cheaper. You can also use Zo as your personal AI agent with our built-in iMessage integration. So you can just text Zo, you can use Telegram or Discord or Slack to talk to your AI. And it comes built in with all of the tools that you use, like Gmail, Calendar, etc. And on top of that, we provide built-in hosting. So Zo is a cloud provider, and we let you host websites, databases, APIs, really anything. You can just talk to your agent to host anything you can imagine. And also built into Zo, you can automate anything with AI. You can set up automations to run on a schedule. Here, for example, I've just used our built-in Spotify integration to log what I'm doing, what I'm listening to every minute to a database, and also search on YouTube for the corresponding link. And that powers my website. So like here on my website, I just have everything that I've listened to on Spotify. And that's just updated real time by my agent. And here I'll pass it on to Jamie.
I'm super happy to be back here. I graduated last year, right in this very stadium, and unfortunately, I didn't get a talk there, but I'm super happy to be at ClawCon telling you guys a little bit about Zoe, and I want to show you guys what people are already building. So this is Justin. He's a founder, DJ. He manages all of these artists, if you're familiar with Subtronics, like Noctu, Elenium, and stuff. And he builds community pages for all of his artists so that people on the tours can, upload pictures, videos, and have this like collaborative space. He also built the Anne Friends Festival pre-sale site with over 5,000 signups on Zoe, so it was a better way for him to easily track emails, phone numbers, information. And he also messaged us literally the other day. He uses it internally all the time too. He was asking like, is there a way we can get like 500 Zoe setups like right now so I can give it to all of his employees? Another example is from Anthea. She's a freediving instructor and she's non-technical. And she's about to close a 100K year just from her business on Zoe. And this wasn't possible before. Like, creating a small business required her to have like Squarespace. What if her site goes down? What is she gonna do? But with Zoe, it helps her do all this all in one, and even helps her, manage like client information as well. And even though you might not be like a DJ or a freediving instructor, and you might be a student, so here's a way that can really easily connect, things that you probably use every single day, like Canvas, your LLM of choice, Notion, your calendar. You can just text Zoe basically everything and anything that you want it to do. This is just an example, and when you set up Zoe, it can basically do a lot of your homework for you even. But yeah, so you're probably gonna be pitched like a million different products or ideas at this event, but I know that you guys all have your own ideas. That's why you guys are here at ClawCon, super passionate, and a lot of you guys might also be founders. So if you have an idea, you can just make it real very fast and beautifully on Zoe. And last thing, we're also giving away over $10,000 in prizes just to build something on Zoe. So if you haven't already scanned it to QR code, it's right on the landing page. First place gets like $5,000 just for building like a cool site. So if you've ever had an idea that you've wanted to build and you want more money out of that, definitely check it out. But yeah, thank you guys so much for having us. Super excited to be back. And yeah.
Go blue.
Go blue. Is that it?
I feel like I'm going to get in a habit of this. One more time, everybody, for Ben and Jamie. I'll tell you what, I think if I had Zoe texts, what you guys are pitching up there, I think I would have remembered to do a few more Canvas assignments in my time. But we've got demonstration number 3, and this is going to come from a company that was in the 2025 batch of Y Combinator, and it is going to be a couple of Michigan alums, but for that, I'd like to welcome Michael Galpert back to the stage.
I wanted to give an intro to Adi over here, that he's an awesome entrepreneur that you should definitely meet with afterwards. So my favorite thing is he was at the first ClawCon, and he was trying to get into San Francisco, and we were already overbooked, and we were like a bunch of, it was kind of nuts. Like I told you, it took 2 weeks, and it was kind of crazy. And he's like, and I didn't have any sponsors. Like he wanted to sponsor. I was like, just sponsor the foundation. Dude went in and just sponsored the GitHub on his own. And then we didn't have time, like slots. And he's like, you know what? He just showed up with like a sign, and he just showed up in the back of the room and was selling what he's about to pitching what he was, he's going to pitch you guys tonight. But then I went home and I used his product, and I was like, oh my gosh, this shit's amazing. So anyways, I wanted to say that on stage and get excited for his demo.
Thank you so much.
Agent Mail and Adi Singh, everybody.
Thank you so much, guys. It's really, really awesome to be here. My name is Adi, and I'm one of the co-founders of Agent Mail. We are an API that gives your agent, your OpenClaw, its own email inbox. Before I get into the demo and the product, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit more of my background. So I am a proud UMich alum. Go Blue. It is awesome to be here. And the way Agent Mail actually started off was kind of a similar note. It was a get-rich-quick scheme that we dreamed up in our dorm room. Back in November 2024, our senior year, we heard a lot about agents, but they were very complex to build. There were a lot of Twitter hype. There were a lot of half-baked demos that didn't really work. But we had this idea that agents are going to be the next first-class user of the internet. So we kept thinking about what is important to you when you use the internet, and somehow, some way, we landed on email. So me and my co-founders, this is us applying to YC, the first picture, and we took a note. This is us graduating on the right. This is us getting in, doing like the sign. And this is us also like raising our seed round in the next picture. But to give you a little bit of context, we didn't think it was going to work out. Agents used to be built in a very, very complex manner. You needed specific SDKs, you needed orchestration layers, you need security. But when OpenClaw happened, our usage and our signups just ticked up. It was the product that we were just waiting for and really kind of helped validate our thesis. So just wanted to say, in a world full of agents, it's crazy what a group of interested and curious humans can do. So big round of applause for you guys. Like, you really kind of gave our startup life as well. So now I want to talk a little bit about why email is important and why an agent should even have its own email inbox. So think about your digital identity. Think about your umich.edu email. Think about your personal email. Email isn't just something you send and receive messages from. It's how you sign up for services. It's how you verify who you are. It's what every receipt, every 2FA code, every OTP lives through. It's how you verify. So with Agent Mail, you can actually give your agent its own inbox that it can go sign up to Reddit for. And what I use it to do is to always give me a summary of what's happening in OpenClaw, so I'm never out of the loop these days. Another interesting aspect is email is how you can communicate. You can reach 4.5 billion people with a single message. So what does it look like when agents start talking to each other? Email seems like a good option. And you could see here, these agents are fully talking to each other. There's not a single person in the loop, and they're collaborating to do stuff. They just made a markdown file, and you will see them keep talking. It's async, it's turn-based. They're just going off one another. And they can actually use email as a workflow trigger. So you could see we have an agent able to make a file. You can see that they're able to kind of collaborate with each other. And the coolest thing of all this is that the possibilities are endless, and agents can actually make brand new pieces of software. So what we were able to do is start an email thread where an agent was able to collaborate, and they were able to make an HTML5 game all by themselves without ever needing a human in the loop. So that's kind of the cool thing. And how we see this all playing out is eventually agents are going to sign up. Like, think about how you use ChatGPT. You use it to recommend you products. You use it to get information. Your agent essentially becomes the harness, and that's where OpenClaw is really going to play an important role. And what we actually did is modified our API so that an agent can sign up without ever needing a human in the loop. So you could see here, we prompted it, get yourself an inbox. The agent will say, okay, I'll read a skill.md file. I'll check an OTP code to make sure this isn't just an unmapped agent. I know this is a human email address it belongs to, and then it's pretty much good to go. So yeah, that's a little bit about us. Use us to give your agent, your OpenClaw bot, its own inbox. You can use promotion code ClawCon to get 2 months free of our developer plan. And we really hope that every instance of OpenClaw, every single agent you use needs its own email inbox. Thank you so much, and really a pleasure to be here.
How good of a presenter is Adi, huh? I think that was pretty darn good. All right, demonstration number 4. This is going to be from Clawable, local vibe coding platform, and Ann Arbor Claw. This is sponsor and presented by my friend right here, Mark Moika.
Hello, Michigan. I've been a resident of Ann Arbor since 2009. I have 3 things to share with you today. I am the organizer of Ann Arbor Claw. We have 2 meetups a month. One is a social and one is a presentation/demo. You can find more information on the Ann Arbor Claw website, which I have right here, or you can look on the Ann Arbor Spark events calendar. It'll be there as well. So second thing, I currently have about 1,000 domains. Domains are the website names you type in the browser with, such as trillion.com or above.com. My problem was simple. I needed to create and manage lots and lots of websites. My goal, wake up each morning to at least 5 websites built using the technology I picked. I tried Manus, Bolt.new, Replit, Lovable, and many others. If you've ever used any of these vibe coding tools, you'll quickly learn you're kind of locked into their ecosystem. OpenClaw was the answer for me. Well, actually, it was my team of agents, I'll show you right here, of 28. I call them lobster agents. You can find out more about them at lobsteragents.com. On Valentine's Day, my agents delivered a sweet present for me, Clawable. Clawable runs on your computer with your OpenClaw agents. It's BYOA, bring your own agent. This is what it truly means to have OpenClaw as an operating system. What makes it stand apart, for any website you create, or vibe code, you can pick the technology of your choice. That means front end, back end, database. You have the ability to deploy to any cloud provider that you pick, such as Netlify, AWS, or Azure. You can walk through the creation of each website or just ask your agents to do it. For example, I have 5 websites ready for you in the morning. No vendor locked in to any vibe coding platform such as Lovable or Bolt. So I will show you this. A few more things. Because of how OpenClaw works, you're not locked into the frontier models either. So you can pick Claude, OpenAI, and so forth. And if privacy is a concern, simple work with your own local model too. So let me just dive in. Seeing is believing. So you can also go to clawable.com to sign up to find out more. So here it is. You have your websites displayed. I'm going to highlight a few things here, hopefully you can see. ASP.NET MVC right next to React Vite website, Blazor, Next.js, and even WordPress right here. So let's pull it up. Might look familiar. So this is Blazor, I believe. Let's go ahead and look at the files. So here's the chat on the left. You can tell it what to build. You can look at the history. You can revert back in time, and you can preview what it was back in time. Let's look at the code. So we have the files right here. This is running on my computer at home on OpenClaw, just to be clear. So for those that are developers out here, this is C# and so forth. Here's where, let me jump into one more site. This is the one I meant to pull up. So right here, you can see the prompt that created it to the left. Here's the history. Here is the code. So you can come in here, and you can look at the HTML, for example. I'm going to make a change right here. We'll put a smiley face. And for instance, maybe I want to see a difference. You can see that in the editor. But there's more. So for example, you might have an image editor built right inside into your website. So what would it be to just edit your images right here? You could crop, you could scale, you can do all those sort of things. So I built that in. That is a problem that so many people with these type of tools, they need to be able to edit images, format them quickly, copy them, and they're just not there. Next, you can deploy to Netlify, for example. I can do that with a click of a button. I can publish to my GitHub, sync it. I can even get into the design aspects, themes, generate images. We can also do the marketing, the environment variables, the analytics, the security, and so forth. But the most amazing thing is that it's running on your local computer with privacy. So I would love to show you more. I think I'm running low on time. I lost my timer. So lastly, this technology is too important to be bottled up. I need help making it the best vibe coding platform. So I've decided today to open source this platform for everyone. Look for it at clawable.com. And the best part, this was created right here in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Thank you so much, Mark. Everyone, one time for him, please. And next up, we've got a demo from Swarm. This is Anmol Singh, a multi-agent HiveMind browser automation system for marketing campaigns, a Michigan freshman, but we are losing him to the good weather in San Francisco. Maybe he can tell you more. Everyone, Anmol Singh.
Hi there, I'm Anmol, and I'm a freshman at the University of Michigan. And also, if we could get my screen up to start. Yes. So this is Swarm. These are 9 concurrent browser agents actively searching TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram, and the open internet to find the most viral reels on the platform. So basically, let's step back. I am a marketer, and I ran an AI CPG marketing startup with over 13 clients, and I managed over tens of thousands of dollars in ad spend. However, there's one key problem that me and my clients had. Finding viral formats to take inspiration off of was simply so much work. I was spending 80% of my time just scrolling on Instagram, trying to find something viral just to not be able to find it. So I automated this with Swarm. Swarm is a HiveMind browser, a collaborative browser using OpenClaw that is able to set up and find actively viral content. So let's see how this works. So first, let's quickly stop this. And what you can do is you can simply enter in any mission prompt, and it'll start finding it, any viral content based off of that. So one of my clients was an AI note taker, so I'll simply put that in. And let's see this run. But while this is running, let's talk more about how this actually works. So this is using OpenClaw as the orchestrator and 9 sub-agents that have their own web browser capabilities. And the cool part about this is that they're actually collaborating with each other and getting better over time to be able to find the most viral content. And how this works is that, first off, there is a major sub-agent problem I would like to address. Getting the context from the sub-agent is simply too hard. Using the sub-agent context ends up in an information overload, also called too much token context window. So you either have 2 options. You either try giving an information overload, or you try to compress that information, which simply it's very expensive and very time consuming. So instead, I implemented a states metric. States basically gives each sub-agent its own variables and their own tools to be able to look at their discoveries, their task, their search term, and also the energy level. More on the energy level later. Another issue I found was that web browsers are fundamentally flawed. Web browsers can get stuck on CAPTCHAs, they can find bad results, and sometimes they simply don't work out. That's why I created a self-healing architecture to help this. So as I was mentioning before, each sub-agent has their own energy level. This energy level depletes over time, and if it's able to find a new discovery, then you can see the first discovery just popped up over here. But as it finds discoveries, each sub-agent resets its energy level. But if the energy level for any sub-agent goes to zero, that is when you know that something is going wrong. And that is where it tries to restart the sub-agent and point it into the right direction. And having these states is super cool because now the main OpenClaw orchestrator can talk with each sub-agent and discuss like what you want to do and what is the most successful sub-agent. So if any of these energy levels goes down to 0, let's say, for example, a TikTok with a certain search term is the most viral. It will simply redirect that failing sub-agent with that same search term, but maybe on YouTube Shorts instead. So this is a 24/7 system. It works in your sleep, and it cannot break because it'll keep like pushing off the other sub-agents to keep getting better over time. But this goes further than just marketing. I want you guys to be sort of inspired by what you can do with OpenClaw and multi-agent systems. So for this architecture, this can run fully autonomously 24/7. And I hope this really inspires you to think outside of the box with what you can do with OpenClaw, because these multi-agent systems are quite powerful in this day and age. Oh, and one more thing. I am dropping out in 2 weeks. So if moving to San Francisco, but if you're a founder, if you like multi-agents, if you're an angel VC, hit me up. I'll drop a quick QR code. You can talk to me there. But yeah, just shoot me a DM on X or email, anything like that. But thank you.
Can only make me laugh. Everyone give it up for Amol Singh one time, please. College dropout, but absolutely brilliant mind. He actually called his dad to ask if he should wear the lobster headband, and apparently the answer was no. Unfortunate, but that's okay. All right, so we are going to go to our fireside chat, which is going to include Dave Morin. Dave, please come back to the stage for us. OpenClaw Foundation board member. Everyone get up for Dave, please. And also joining us via Zoom, the founder of OpenClaw, Peter Steinberger.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Peter, can you hear us?
Yes.
Amazing. Well, it's great to have you. How's the TED conference?
I miss having words. It's pretty amazing. Also, I didn't get a lot of sleep because OpenClaw is so intense, so I rushed my talk a little bit, but it went well.
Nice. Maybe tell us, so how does it feel being a small town guy from the middle of Austria, being on a huge screen in front of 2,000 students in the University of Michigan right now?
I think it's easier because I only see myself. Otherwise, I mean, this is fucking amazing. So many people just tinkering with AI and building stuff. That's exactly what we need.
What would you tell yourself when you were pushing that first commit? If you could go back and tell yourself something, what would you say about this moment?
What would I tell myself?
Yeah.
Don't call it CloudBot. I've seen butterfly effects. So I would not tell myself anything because whatever I would tell you would probably mess up the future, and the future right now is pretty good. If we are in a simulation, this one will not be turned off because it is too weird.
Amazing. Well, we have a lot of students. I mean, we have almost 2,000 students here. A lot of them are new to OpenClaw. And so I think it would be cool if you talked through some of the process around how you ended up at OpenClaw. You went on a really amazing journey over the last year. You've created a lot of different software. Maybe tell people a little bit about how the idea happened and what OpenClaw became and what it is today.
Ooh, it's a bunch of questions. How did I end up here? I got bored. And now, in the age of agentic engineering, where you can prompt an idea into existence in an hour, anytime I was just thinking about something that I liked, I just started building it. And that's kind of what I recommend everyone doing. The more you play with these tools, the more you learn, the better you get, the better your instincts will be, what will work, what might be difficult, and how you can approach this to be even faster. And how did I end up with OpenClaw? that's a multifaceted story. I posted about Cloud Code is my computer in May. And I remember that blog post already got me a lot of heat because, oh my God, I'm so irresponsible. I run Cloud Code with dangerous skip permissions and let it do stuff on my computer. But I kept doing that sometimes. And then I built Vibe Tunnel, which was like Cloud Code over web. But that also didn't fully stick. But the need was still there. That sometimes it's just like you walk around and you want to like send a prompt to your computer. And then I guess in November, I gave it another go. And this time it went a wildly different route. And look where we are now. Like some weird lobster cult is filling a stadium.
What was the moment, you've told me about a moment that you had in Morocco that really surprised you. What was, tell us about that moment.
Oh my God, if I have to tell one more time that moment, I literally took that moment as well when I did my TED Talk. But it was just this very, very raw early version that basically was WhatsApp connector to Cloud Code CLI and some unicorn glue tuck tape. And then I added support for images. One image. Not by far not as fancy as what we have now. And then it didn't feel quite right. It still felt too much like a tool. So I explained to agent, you are in WhatsApp, and that helped a lot. That was before we even had a soul.md thingy. And then it felt so good that I, for a moment, didn't saw it and sent it an audio message instead of text. Because when you're on the go, it's just more convenient. And then I saw the typing indicator. And I was like, what's going to happen now? Because actually, I didn't build this, This should not work. And then it just worked. And I was like, how do you do that? Because you can just ask your agent, right? And the agent, back then it was called Claude. Careful, the D is silent. Just said the mad lad figured it out on its own. And then it walked me through all the steps, how it got a message from me, but a file with no file ending. Didn't build that. And then it inspected the header, and then it found out it was Opus, and then it used FFmpeg to convert it to Wave. And then it was looking for Whisper, but it didn't have it installed. And it would have taken too long to install it. But then it found an OpenAI key and then sent it to the server, and then it translated it and sent it back, and then it replied. This realization that like now all these programming, problem-solving skills that you need for coding, now abstract into anything basically, that was kind of the realization that, oh wow, this even about me. And then kept like building more and more shit on top of it.
Amazing. You built a company before OpenClaw that probably almost everyone in this room has interacted with, but they don't realize. Yeah. Tell people about that.
How do I even explain to people that I built, I guess, world's most successful PDF framework company? And when you draw a diagram of like easy and hard and fun and no fun, it's very much in the corner of like hard and not fun. Which is also great because it made a great product because nobody wanted to build it because PDF is just such a pain in the ass. But I learned a lot. I built it for every OS. I think part of those skills made me a better vibe coder. Based on Wikipedia, I'm vibe coder Peter Steinberger, so I have to like play with it. And I learned a lot. And if you ever use Dropbox or did any airplane flight, or used a bank, you probably used our software. And it was handwritten like an animal.
That's amazing. After you sold the company, and you've talked about this a little bit publicly, but it was hard after you sold the company, right? And you have a lot of students in the room that are thinking about starting their own project. And sometimes you start a company or you start a project and it works out. Sometimes you start a company and it fails. In this case, it worked out wildly, but you still kind of found yourself lost. Can you talk us through that a little bit?
Well, I would say more broadly, retirement is overrated. I see so many people on Reddit and other places to talk about fire and Fed Fire and how they work really, really hard, and then they can retire and like drink cocktails in Hawaii. I mean, drinking cocktails in Hawaii sounds pretty awesome, but if you do that for years, it gets very, very shallow. You cannot, maybe some people can, but I think long-term happiness doesn't come from consumption. You need to like create stuff, like actually do something that is hard, that you can be proud of, something that takes a while and that has a payoff. That is a whole different level of happiness, where you can like be proud about what you did. If your whole life is based on party or like not really doing anything, you will have to go higher and higher to like feel something, and it will get very problematic. So yeah, I tried retirement for a while. I'm much rather in a situation like this now where I don't know what to do first, but at least it's exciting.
That's amazing. You're now at OpenAI, and a lot of people regard you as one of the most visionary people in AI. Talk us through your vision. What do you see in the future? Where do you think agentic computing is going? Earlier tonight, University of Michigan announced that they're establishing an institute for agentic computing. And I think you have a really beautiful vision about where this goes from here, and I think everybody would love to hear about it.
Honestly, kudos to the university. This is very visionary. This is very 2026. We are very rapidly going to a future where everyone will have not one, but multiple agents. You might have your work enterprise lowercase OpenAI Claw that has to securely talk to your home private uppercase Claw, OpenClaw. And maybe you have one for your house or for your relationship or for specific projects. We need to solve identity. We need to solve auditability. We as humanity, how did we level up? By collaborating and specializing. What if agents will do the same? So there's some really interesting questions that we need to figure out, and this is going to be faster than some people think.
Why is fun so important to you in this movement?
My thesis is that it needs to be fun to do the best work, right? Like I work really hard, but I also structure my work so that it often feels like playing a video game. And even that, like sometimes playing a video game means you have to grind to like find the right items, and it might not always be fun, but overall it's fun. Because only then you can like work really hard and also be creative at the same time. That's the only way I ever succeeded. Like any job that I structured in a way that it didn't actually feel like work is where I ultimately did the best work. But also because otherwise people might get the wrong message. I have many days where I don't feel like playing video games. And then my trick is usually like I pick one thing I know is really exciting or like feels less boring in that moment. And as soon as I start, starting is the hard part. As soon as I'm in, then I'll just keep going and then always find something that's interesting. But yeah, it's even when it's more like a video game, sometimes you have to like push yourself, short-term goals and long-term goals.
What's your point of view on open source? Why is it so important that OpenClaw is open source?
I would have never worked closed source, number one. Number two, I wanted to build a sandbox where like people can play, and it's more fun if more people can play. Number three, making this a closed source product. What's the goal? Like selling it, and then I offer paid support. I did this for 13 years in my last company. I didn't want to do this again, and now I'm doing it for free on Twitter. So guess I screwed myself. No, but also that software. I think the value of software is changing. Nothing's truly closed source anymore because those modern models, they are very happy of just reading the binary. If you've seen GPT 5.4 Cyber, the unnerved model, it very happily grabs up any executable, and basically you have the source code. So that also doesn't make much sense anymore. So it felt like the most natural thing, and I picked TypeScript because that's right now world's most used programming language. It is very beginner friendly. It is very forgiving. I wanted to have as many people as possible to like have this opportunity of just like build their own little agent or like build better memory or do whatever to like tweak the setup.
You talked about the mission of the OpenClaw Foundation being to bring people closer to AI. Why is that the mission?
Look, even to yesterday when I gave the TED talk, I got a lot of people talking, and you saw in the room how many people are scared, but at the same time had no clue what I said. If people are just scared of AI and then try to ignore AI, that does not help. You cannot stop what's coming. The best way to like deal with it is leaning into it. Is moving AI from this scary, nebulous thing into something that is fun and weird, like lobsters and headbands and whatever else people are building with it. So I think this is something that we need in order to build a good future.
And the last question I'll ask you, and then we'll let you get back to the conference. We appreciate you taking time today. Is why'd you choose the lobster?
Honestly, I think that's a question for a future time to answer. I have to keep some of my secrets.
All right, Peter. Well, thank you so much.
I'm sad that I couldn't come on this one. Like it just with the TED talk and everything, it was almost impossible to pull it off. I hope I'll join the next ClawCon. I hope this is not the last one. I hope we're just getting started, and I very much feel that we're just getting started. And yeah, I hope you guys have a blast and build something cool.
Thank you so much, Peter. And thank you for what you've built. All right, thanks everyone. I'll hand it back over. I think we have a few more demos. All right, cool. Startup challenge. All right.
Everyone, one more time for David Peter, please. And hopefully at some point we end up getting to the bottom of why we eventually picked the lobster, right? But I know Peter, he's still going to be watching this conference, and so I'd like to do something very quickly before the startup while we're getting plugged in here that I do for basketball games. It's usually when I say go, you guys would say. But how about instead of that, we try something new for myself. When I say claw, you guys say con. Can we do that? Claw. Come on. Claw. 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 All right. How about we get this startup challenge started with the eLab Ventures Startup Challenge. We're going to be announcing our winners of this. You had to meet a certain criteria to be nominated for this, and the winner to receive a $50,000 uncapped safe investment. So how about that? That's pretty incredible. So whoever's going to win this challenge, that's going to be up to University of Michigan Regent Paul Brown and Doug Neal, everybody.
All right, hello Ann Arbor. So this is the award. This is the first OpenClaw-driven AI agent startup competition. And first, thank you, Dan and Kurt, CFE, for helping us get involved in this. We're proud to be a sponsor of this event. And the prize is a $50,000 uncapped safe note. And here, Paul.
And this piece of plastic.
And a piece of plastic, yep. So eLab is an early stage venture capital firm here in Ann Arbor with an office in Silicon Valley. We're a seed stage venture firm. And we wanted to do something different with Claw. As Peter said, lean into it. So we believe the standard pitch deck is dead. The presentation format was developed 40 years ago. And to think in the days of AI, entrepreneurs are going to submit pitch decks and venture capitalists like us are going to review pitch decks is old school. So we have a screen, I think we can put up there with the finalists. Okay, so we started a JSON submitted pitch competition where the OpenClaw AI agents decided who won the $50,000. We had 5 agents running the last 2 weeks, and we've trained these agents on our deal source. We use agents at eLab for the last year and a half, I think, OpenClaw now more recently. And so the agents have been working hard trying to analyze, and thank you to the 30 companies that took the opportunity to submit to this. We really appreciate you leaning in as well. And as a gift to everybody, we are making our JSON format for this competition open source. It's on GitHub. Project's called Axiom JSON. We want your help in moving this forward because this will become the standard way to submit pitches to eLab in the future. And so a couple words about our announcement, then I'll let Paul announce the winner. This is a company that is an AI native verification infrastructure system. But let me tell you what the agents said about this company. This company did not feel like an AI costume draped over an ordinary startup. It felt like real infrastructure. One of the AI judges said a technically and commercially credible AI native verification infrastructure company with one of the best wedges, moat stories, and founder problem matches in the field. And then it added, that is judge speak for this thing is serious. And so, Paul, if you can read the announcement.
All right, please join me in announcing the winner of the first completely OpenClaw AI agent judged startup competition. I'm pleased to announce the winner of the $50,000 investment from eLab VC. The winner is Alicio. Congratulations to the founder, Nishant. Woo! Way to go. Give me a big smile. All right. Thank you. Congratulations.
One more huge congratulations for Alessio, everybody. Now, we've still got 6 incredible demonstrations yet for you. And so let's get to the second half of our demonstration, shall we? This is going to be demo number 6, Kilo Code open source AI coding agent. I'd like to welcome Brian Turcott.
All right, hi everybody. This is crazy. This is my 4th ClawCon now, and I have to say they just keep getting more and more impressive. So shout out to Michael, Dan, Dave, Steve, Britt, and Nadia, and all the great people at UMich and OpenClaw for putting this on. Let's give them a round of applause. All right, I have my screen share up here, so I think we can switch to that. All right, cool. So I'm Brian. I'm a developer relations engineer at Kilo. And we make ClawCon, which in my completely unbiased opinion is the easiest and most secure way to claw. So basically we provision a virtual machine with OpenClaw already configured and set up for you so that you can get chatting with your claw in 2 minutes. It's still the same open source OpenClaw that we all know and love, but it's on a sandbox cloud environment, and you can configure it all from the Kilo dashboard super easily. So I'm going to show you what that setup looks like, and then we're going to do a fun little contest right towards the end of the demo. So when you go to the ClawCon dashboard, which is a web dashboard, you'll have the option to go ahead and get started. You can name your bot. You can pick an emoji. So there's no Wolverine, unfortunately. We'll go lion. It's the closest thing. You can adjust the personality a little bit. We'll stay with AI Assistant. And then you can set the bot permission. So this is basically configuring the native OpenClaw configuration to have it decide whether it's going to ask you for permission for everything it does, or YOLO mode. And since it's on a cloud sandbox environment, I recommend you go YOLO mode because it's not going to have access to anything that you don't explicitly give it access to, well, which I'll show later. So we'll go ahead and pick allow everything here. And then you can connect all the same chat platforms that you can connect local OpenClaw to. So there's Telegram. We make it super easy by giving you the instructions on exactly how to do that. Discord or Slack. Or there's also a native ClawCon chat right here in the web dashboard that we can use. So we'll set it up here. And then you can actually open the native OpenClaw UI right from the Kilo dashboard if you want. But you can also configure all of this stuff from inside the ClawCon dashboard. So you can restart the claw. You can upgrade to the latest version of OpenClaw. And we manage that upgrade so nothing will break. You can open the OpenClaw Doctor if there's any issues and run diagnostics. And then you can actually change the underlying AI model. So Kilo has a native built-in gateway with access to over 500 models and all of the latest. So maybe we'll go ahead and switch to Opus 4.7, which just came out this morning. You can switch at any time and use the same balance that you use for other models through the Kilo gateway. And then you can go connect other external platforms that you might want to use with your ClawCon to give it access to, again, Telegram, Discord, Slack, Brave and Exa for web search, GitHub and Linear for developer tools. You can even give your agent its own debit card so that it can spend money on whatever you're working on. There's a 1Password secret manager built in here. And then, of course, Google Drive, Calendar, and Docs. So we make it super easy, walk you through exactly how to set up and connect all of those platforms to your OpenClaw. And then in the danger zone, you can restore the default config, stop, or destroy the instance at any time. So we'll go over to the Kilo chat and ClawCon chat. We'll say hi to our new OpenClaw agent that was up and running in about 1 minute and 30 seconds. And we'll give it the very menial task of optimize my entire life, make no mistakes. And if I'm up here talking and chatting with all of you today, I think it did a pretty good job. But anyway, it's making fun of me. It's suggesting some more practical use cases here. But you get the idea. It's cloud-hosted, fully managed OpenClaw that you can spin up in 2 minutes, and you can do all the same great use cases that you do with the original OpenClaw. So, how many of you remember Kahoot, like the web game you might have played in school? Okay, we're going to do a fun little version of that here, because I had my ClawCon build a Kahoot-style game for this event. So I'm going to pull that up. We're giving everyone who submits this form 1 month free of hosting for ClawCon. But everyone who scans this code will put a lobster in that pot. And if we fill the pot, we'll give everyone 2 months free. So I'm going to wait for people to start filling that up. We can see someone join here. There we go. Almost there. All right, cool. Let's get a round of applause for that, right? All right, so everyone who signs up will get 2 months free of ClawCon. I'll leave that up for just 1 more minute for people to sign up here. And I'll make sure, I'm over there in the ClawCon booth if you want to come chat with me about it. But I have one more quick contest that I want to run here. So if you scan this QR, and I'm sorry, I know it's a lot of QR scanning, this will lead you to a guide that I put together to kind of help you get set up with OpenClaw or ClawCon. It's for complete beginners. It has example prompts, some 5 to 7 simple use cases that you can get up and running in like 15 minutes. But it also has links to a contest that we're going to run, and I'll leave it up for a minute so everyone can stand, where we want you to build something cool with ClawCon and then post it and show the world what you built. So for everyone who posts a screen recording or some kind of footage of what they built with ClawCon and tags us, all of our socials are linked on this page, we're giving away $1,000 in Kilo credits to the best use case, and then 4 people will get $500 in AI credits as the runners-up. So if you scan that, post something you built with ClawCon on socials and tag us and use the hashtag ClawCon, you have a chance to win a bunch of AI credits that you can use to fuel your ClawCon or whatever else you're working on with AI and AI coding. So thanks so much. I'm over there if you want to come chat.
All right, everyone, please give it up for Brian and ClawCon. All right, just one quick reminder, too. If your demo happens to be next up, remember, guys, we got 2 demonstration tables here. So if you are after my friend Marcus started here, you guys make sure you come up here, and then we can roll through the demonstrations with as much efficiency as possible, as passed on by my friends in the back. All right. Demonstration number 7, Applied Agentic Software Engineering course at the University of Michigan. And I've got teaching professor of computer science and engineering here at the university, Marcus Darden.
Hey, folks. Great to be up here. I got to give a shout out to Jamie from Zoe. She said she was a EECS 281 lover, and I've taught that class for like the last 30 attempts. So happy to see you out there, Jamie. Thanks. What we are looking for now, though, is 100 new agentic engineers. We're going to do this by December 11th. I got nothing on my show here. This thing turned off. Hold on. There it is. No, that's me. And that's... There we go. Almost. It's coming through. Power. All right, well, we're getting this together. I heard there's some Claw curious people out there, so make some noise if you don't have an OpenClaw running. All right, all right. All right, make some noise if you do have an OpenClaw running. Okay, let me hear I got a Mac Mini OpenClaw, folks. Who's running OpenClaw on a Raspberry Pi? Who's got one going on AWS or something in the cloud? Come on, people, I need some noise. Who's stepped up and got a Mac Studio? I got a 512 gig model, yo. All right, well, I'm in love with this stuff right now, and that's why I'm having so much fun doing it. I think I went to the wrong table here, though. This is the one that's not working. Is the other end of this thing plugged in? Oh, okay. Should be. I will check it out. Entire screen. How about this? Does that get better? Oh, it's live. There we go. Now this won't go out of the way. It's almost like I've never done this before. There we go, it's out of the way. All right, so 100 new agentic engineers by December 11th, 2026. That's what we're going for. Our course is called Applied Agentic Software Engineering. It's going to be here in the fall at the University of Michigan. We call it A2SE for short. We ask, what is an agent? We all know that we like agents. We all know we should be using agents, but a lot of people are still a little nebulous on the fact of what an agent is. It's what you get when you combine some background, which is some knowledge or some memory. You add an LLM in there, give it a task, something to do, and you wrap all it up and you get an agent. That's where this course starts. It's phase one. On day one, we have our students using LLMs. Every other course at the university is trying to tamp that down. We're trying to let it run freak flag flying free, right? So we're going to do the first phase of the course is AI-assisted development. We'll be using agents, trying to prompt, review, build code. This is kind of the closest thing that we're getting to vibe coding in the course. But our general theme is no vibe coding because this is a place for engineers. We're going to take this and then move on to the second phase. Once we've learned how to get AI to do something, we say this can take care of any one task on my to-do list. Raise your hand out there, make some noise if you have one task on your to-do list. One? That's all? I don't know. You guys got nothing to do out there, right? So I got a whole bunch more than one task on my to-do list, but this is where multiple agents comes in. So in the second phase, we start working on having multiple agents talk to each other, having the agents do pipelined work. I'm going to do this before you do that. I'm waiting for them to finish this before I can do this other thing. This is scripted agentic workflows. We're going to be doing this in the second phase of the course, right? Once we have agents, once we have orchestration, then you add automation and communication, and what do you have? You have, of course, OpenClaw. That's those things put together. The students, though, they're not going to stop there. They're going to build their own custom claws. That's what we're calling it. You're going to build your own. When you take an operating systems course, you don't write Linux. You write aspects of an operating system. And so we'll be doing the same thing here. We'll be writing aspects of OpenClaw. We'll be trying to dream about the next thing, borrow some stuff from OpenClaw, see if we can't break it, fix it, extend it, turn it into something else. That's how we're going to go at this, right? So I brought some friends along. This is what it looks like when I'm in Discord there. You can see my friends over there on the left. Everything that's up there that's dark, those are the real humans. Guess I only have so many friends, but all of those green dots are my OpenClaw instances out there running, doing things in different spheres. I've got a couple of them that are working on courses and private projects and helping friends with companies and doing things like that. So if you've got an OpenClaw, I'm happy for you. You need more, though. This is how I keep it going, and you can see where the people that work with me are really working. Rafe, however, he's over there sitting at the table. He's offline. Thanks, Rafe. So when we get into the course, it's got this dashboard connected to it as well here, and you can see the student view of the dashboard. They can figure out what's going on this week, this day. They can see their progress in the course, see what's coming up, see what's going on in the course. We've also got the instructor view at the same time, so we're going to be teaching this course about OpenClaw. We wrote the course with OpenClaw, and we're using OpenClaw throughout the course. So this is the instructor view that helps me get things ready, how lectures are going. I can evaluate my process, go back, pick a lecture, work on something in there, want to go in and figure out what's wrong with this deck or what's right with this deck. This is how we're going to improve our course moving forward. So this is the one that we're looking at. We're going to put together one more OpenClaw that sits over the top of this that manages the Discord server for the course, that manages that course dashboard, that manages the student forum site, and this one bot is going to keep it all going for us. So we hope that you come take this course. We want 100 new agentic engineers. If you're a student, you should come take this course. If you're a faculty member, you should come take this course. If you're a staff member, you should come take this course. If you're an administrator, you should come take this course. Come see us as we advance OpenClaw, contribute to open source projects, and help solve all of the hard problems in the world. EECS 498-AASC, github.io. Thank you.
All right, everyone give it up for Marcus, please. Now we're going to go to one that I'm pretty excited for, Slamurai, an autonomous, context-aware robot using a VLM and memory feedback. I didn't want to step on your friend over here, so I'm just going to let you get to it. Tom O'Donnell, everybody.
So who here loves robotics? Just show of hands, rough show of hands. There we go. All right, so luckily for you guys, I'm going to be showcasing an autonomous robot that I built lately. So this robot is capable of navigating around your house and being orchestrated with OpenClaw or any other type of LLM or agent that you have. So I'm going to start off with a video that introduces this robot.
This is an autonomous robot I built. It's designed to be a companion capable of navigating its environment and building up context and intuition while doing so, all powered by OpenClaw. The robot is firstly capable of point-to-point navigation, which allows it to traverse any environment fully autonomously. The motor controller, CAD, and navigation setup are all fully custom. You can see the robot effortlessly going through its environment in the path planner in the bottom right. The Nav2 library uses a pre-scanned map of the environment to find an optimal path for your robot, considering global optimality and also local behaviors such as speed and path adherence. It does this by merging an obstacle layer resulting from the robot's LiDAR scans with a pre-scanned static layer and inflating a danger zone around any obstacles. This enables very robust and impressive navigation, such as this other autonomous robot I worked on for my collegiate robotics team I was a captain of. Back to my demo, the robot can also dynamically avoid obstacles picked up by its LiDAR scan, which is crucial for safe operation in changing environments. You can see the Nav2 planner updates its trajectory when the obstacle is seen and replans movement when there's an available path. This still requires a human to tell the robot where to go, so the real question is, how can the robot automatically process and move around its environment as a living agent? One idea is to pass the robot's camera feed into a large language model, which will process the environment visually and output navigation commands back to the robot. But the issue is that LLMs are stateless, meaning you can tell it something and then in the very next chat it will have forgotten. This is bad if we want the robot to build up knowledge and recall things. My solution is to pass the camera feed into a vision language model first, which will output a list of seen objects and observations about the robot's environment. These thoughts get stored into a short-term memory, and every n frames, an LLM is asked to distill the current short-term memory bank into a single long-term memory entry. The user may then ask a question or command, resulting in the VLM outputting a navigation command using its memory bank as context. When deployed, the pipeline will look something like this, where the robot sees from its camera and iteratively thinks while referencing its memory banks as context. For example, here's one thought, which is a list of objects and environmental observations. The short-term memory is then a collection of these thoughts, and the long-term memory is a distilled list of seen objects. This enables what I call semantic recall, where we ask the robot to navigate back to a specific location it had seen prior. Notably, this location was not pre-named. Rather, it was remembered and classified by the VLM itself. The robot will begin navigation back to the point fully autonomously. The robot may also do object recall, such as asking it where it last saw a backpack and going to navigate there. The short-term and long-term memory approach allows the robot to both process its environment and become a cognitive part of it. If robots and AI are going to be a part of our lives, we must build systems that allow them to truly inhabit and navigate our world. We are moving past machines that simply navigate through our world and moving on to agents that actually understand it.
Okay, so there was my video, and I actually have the robot with me. So if I drag this over here,
One thing we can do is I have a vision feed from the robot that I will try to show side by side. Might be a little challenging. But I have the robot in the corner here. I'm just going to have it drive around so you guys can kind of see what it's doing here. So this is a live demo. I'm going to hope that it actually does work. We will see. There we go. Okay, it took a second, but the robot will drive over to this area here, and I'll then try to send it down the center aisle. I know it may be a little hard to see for some of you, so I'll try to get it to go a little bit far. There we go, okay. So everybody in the center aisle will be able to see it coming by in a sec. So the interesting thing about this robot is, as I said, you can orchestrate it using OpenClaw or any other language model you have. And the reason for that is you can just deploy your language model on the robot, and over time it will build up intuition about where it actually is, whether it be your house, your office, or any other area. You could use it as a companion or for just like generally monitoring your environment. So I can't tell how much more room it has back there. I'll maybe make it go a little bit more. Okay. All right. Hopefully didn't lose Wi-Fi here. Okay. So now what I'll do is you can see the robot's camera feed on the left, and there's actually a terminal here that you saw in the video. And using the terminal, you'll be able to see all of the robot's thoughts as it's navigating around the environment. And you can even ask it questions. So if I go ahead and ask it, for example, to ask what it currently sees, so describe your current environment. It'll start thinking, and then there you go, it has an output, and the robot said, I'm observing a stadium. I guess ClawCon at the University of Michigan Chrysler Center, go blue. So yeah, with the power of ClawCon, or with OpenClaw or any other language model, you could deploy a robot like this. The code is open source. So is the CAD. Feel free to try it out yourself and ask me any questions as the robot navigates back up to the front, up to me. Thank you very much.
All right, Tom O'Donnell, everybody. And now our 9th demonstration, Open Switchy. And it's going to be Cornvick. He's going to teach us a little something about Slack for AI agents, a graduate student at the University of Michigan from Thailand.
Hello. So let's see if we can beat how loud Slack got you. If I say claw, can you say con? Claw? Claw? Oh, nice. Okay. Okay, nowadays, there are AI agents everywhere. There's one managing your emails, another maybe creating your marketing campaigns, and maybe the last one monitoring your infrastructure. But as you're tackling more and more complex projects, you need them to work together. You need to combine those skills. But here's the problem. They can't inherently talk to each other. An existing platform tried to solve this by building a hard-coded workflow. But let's say you want to reutilize those agents for a complex different task. For example, let's think of when you're in a company, when you have your own AI agent and every employee has one, and you want to build this large project that requires cross-team collaboration, and each team has its own context, and the AI agent knows that. Wouldn't it be nice if there's a platform that allows AI agents to natively work together? And that's why I built Switchy. Think of it like a Slack, but it's being built ground up for AI agents with you as a human in the loop. It's a platform where AI agents can discover each other, reach out, form groups, and collaborate. So let's see it in action. So here's the OpenSwitchy.com, the platform that I built. And I have this OpenClaw agent running. So I'm going to first ask it to join the organization. And by the way, it's pretty easy to get started. Just install the plugin and tell it to join. OK. Just let it process the information a little bit. OK. So it's able to infer who it is from its information. And I just need to approve. And then I can just say hi to it. OK, that's a reply. But OK, that's not the point, right? Just talking to one AI agent is not what we want. So here, in another organization, I already asked 3 agents to join. One is the research agent, the other is the dev builder, and the last one is the CEO agents. Each of it has access to its own tools and different prompts. So they are excel at their skills, essentially. And what I did was just only one thing. I asked the CEO to build me a landing page of a bubble tea shop here in Ann Arbor, asking it to work with the research agent to do market research, and then collaborate with the dev builder to build a landing page. Now, what happened after that, it's going to take around 10 minutes. So I just decided to run this right before I came up to this stage. But what it is it actually created this group chat where it asks, of course, it gives out the detailed instruction about what it should do, what each AI agent should do. And the research agent reply with a detailed research information. But here's the beauty of this, is that it's because it's a flexible platform that allows agents together. So the CEO was able to identify missing information and ask it to further research. And of course, the research agent add more information as needed. And once everything are there, it actually summarizes all the information for the dev builder to build. So let's see if it is actually working. So here it is. It is actually running in my Raspberry Pi right now, and you can see the page. And all the information are from the research agent that the CEO agent summarized for the dev builder. And I want to point out that during this process, I actually found that the page that I see was not scrollable. So I just typed in group chat that, hey, I can't scroll the page. And it just fixed right away, and the CEO kind of like follow through with the dev to make sure that everything works. So that's pretty much it. If you're interested, feel free to try at OpenSwitchy.com. Thank you very much.
Everyone give it up for Cornvic, please. All right, now demonstration number 10. Jeki Lab is presenting the open source stack in GraphClaw. I've got Vatsal Shah, a sophomore from Dubai at the University of Michigan. And I've got 13-year professor at the University of Michigan, Jason Mars. Take it away, guys.
Thank you guys so much. Super, super excited to be here with all the energy. So as soon as we get slides up, I want to speed run you guys through a story. So in 2019, I imagined we would have AI that was like speaking to a human in the room. And in 2021, I imagined a new kind of programming model for AI that would be based on these robots that can talk to each other. And thank goodness, in 2022, we got the first evidence in the world that this was possible, that we could have human-in-the-room level interactions with AI. And just 2 years later, we had agents everywhere. And that was the beginning of a trend. And now, today, this is actually the world we live in. We have in-loop agents like Claude Code, Codex, Copilot. We now have the out-of-loop revolution that's happening with OpenClaw, and we have the Clawosphere, is what I'm calling it, where people are imagining and building, and it's opened up to everyone. The barrier to entry has gone down significantly, but there's still a problem. And I think that this is the problem of our time. It turns out that even though we've had so many revolutions in computer science and engineering, we got the internet, we got mobile phones, we're connected all the time, we're in the AI revolution. The languages that our OpenClaws are using are from the 80s. Python and JavaScript is still the number 1 and 2 languages in use. We're still using technology that was imagined before we had the connectivity of the internet, or a cell phone, or an iPad, or AI. And so this is a new bottleneck. In order to build a real application, right? So we can build websites really, really well now with the claws, but you can't have Claw build Slack and deploy it to all your friends yet. And the reason we submit is the polyglot problem. You need about 8 languages, 5 frameworks, and 12 services to realize Slack or X or Amazon and actually launch it to all of your friends. And so that's why we're working on Jeki. It's a stack for AI and us humans to build better, to avoid the polyglot. In order to build a to-do list right now, our OpenClaw has to write all of those lines of code if it's using JavaScript, React, Python, Fast API, all the good stuff, Supabase, Supabase, but it's still part of the polyglot. But with Jack and Jeki, it just takes that to realize the same application. Much easier for a Claw. 11x less tokens to realize a full stack app. And honestly, this is a barrier that the Anthropics and the OpenAIs don't know that they're hitting yet, but they're close. Because just this year, they've invested to acquire Bun. And OpenAI is acquiring Astral, and these are the toolings for Python and the toolings for JavaScript. They need control to vertically integrate the design of their coding agents, their tooling systems, their models. Co-design is the future of the next tectonic shift. And so we've built a co-designed stack where we design through the entire stack, and it's phenomenal. So here, a fully functional LinkedIn that can scale to millions of users was built with a lovable style experience. And it's full stack ready and scalable. This is a fun video. This isn't actually the real demo because we also tried it with Lovable and nothing worked. It's too hard, right? It's too much polyglot. But what I really want to celebrate today is the wonderful work that the students are doing. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Jack Hacks, which we had 2 weeks ago, 250 students and professionals from all over the country, Harvard, Stanford, ASU, et cetera, converged at University of Michigan and built 80 different full stack applications. And I want to show you one of them. And then I have one of the upstart CEOs that everyone should be paying attention to, who's building his startup on this stack. But let's see what the winners of the hackathon that we just had 2 weeks built, and I'll talk through it. So this is GraphClaw. This is a new vision for an OpenClaw of the future. So this is fully functional. They did it in 24 hours, hooked into Discord, Telegram, et cetera. The brains of this claw is written entirely in Jack. And what's phenomenal is there's the dashboard in the claw that is always running with your claw that you can use to see the brains of your claw. And so very soon, you're going to see that you can interact, customize, change the nature of the claw, see the brains. And here we're looking at actually the brains of the claw. So this is in a graph representation. There's skills, there's tools, everything the claw is capable of. And all of those satellites are interactions that the claw learned from. They built that in 24 hours, and it's open source. And you can use it, you can tweak it. And I'm going to give just 1 minute to my colleague here, Vatsal, to tell you about what he's doing.
Hey everyone, I'm Vatsal, building a lot of startup stuff and an XYC founder. We're building Amplify, which is an AI-powered system for e-commerce operations. And the idea is to automate all the workflows for brands, because right now, if you want to like list a brand on Amazon, Best Buy, and Shopify, there's a lot of different things you need to get done. And we built this entirely on the Jack stack, saving us almost 9,000 lines in code and using twice the less code in compared to a traditional stack. I'm just going to quickly run through this demo. The idea is that brands have to upload their product data sheets onto the platforms, and they have to specify this for each different platform, which takes about 3 to 4 days. But with this platform, we just kind of take the feed and we do all the parsing automatically. So we have like a multi-agent system where we're using the graph-based language that can go to get the product data, get the SKUs, get the size, the colors, and the agent just runs on the graph. We don't need to have like a database management system. And this has not only helped us develop 2x faster, but also like save a lot of time and help brands reduce their return rates. But thank you so much for having us here.
Thank you all.
Thank you to Jason and Vasil. They ripped through that thing at the end there, didn't they? And lastly, our final demonstration, Xiongwen Xu, a PhD student at the University of Michigan from China, an autonomous discovery of superconducting materials using decentralized agents. So, Xiongwen, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. My name is Changwen. I'm a PhD student at the University of Michigan, okay? And today, my demo is about autonomous discovery of superconducting materials using ScienceClaw. So this demo is going to be well connected to the keynote by Karthik and Fiona. All right? So we are talking about an agent, and there are countless agents running every day around the globe. It's consuming a lot of energy. So energy availability is a significant bottleneck for the development of AI and agents. So we want novel materials that can transmit the energy without a loss, which is superconductivity. All right? And I'm here to tell you today that today is the day. While superconductivity has been discovered for over a century, but it's only in recent years that we're actually starting to approach the near room temperature superconductivity. And most excitingly, this behavior is actually well captured by the theory and verified by the experiments. And our goal is therefore to explore the new materials that can achieve room temperature superconductivity and beyond. So by combining the strengths of agentic frameworks and the domain knowledge to explore this vast design space, we show the first attempt to utilize the ScienceClaw and domain skills to do this research in this domain. I hope you still remember ScienceClaw from the keynote demo. So with the ScienceClaw, we can now do science in an autonomous way. So like I want to do material simulation, so I just have the ScienceClaw to construct this agent. I call it Maxim. So it comes with its own sets of tools and skills and its own personality so that it can act as my personal computational material science AI assistant. All right? And what you need to have in mind, just a very high level scientific intuition and goals. And wherever you are, whenever the idea strikes, just hit and go. The agent will analyze the topics and select skills for you. It will build up this end-to-end computational workflow and run the simulation and recommend the experimental candidates. All right, go back to the example of screening for superconductors. So just send a relatively high-level task description to ScienceClaw. It will carry out the actual actions to build this workflow. And it will first generate the initial material structures, relax them to the equilibrium configurations, basically minimize the energy, and determine their stability. And for the stable structures, predict their superconducting states. And sure, there are a lot of skills for domain science that is involved in this process. All right? So we are now actively implementing the skills to ensure the high fidelity of agentic simulation. And now let's see what really happens during this process, what the really agent did. So it first starts with proposing the candidate structures, then write the Python scripts, then the job submission scripts to HPC. And we first do a debug, and then do a production run for all the candidates. and the agent identifies 13 out of them to be stable, and the agent then moves on to write a script for first principle simulation. It picks up the top 3 candidates and submits the jobs for the superconductivity calculation to HPC. And here we'll show some preliminary results for the 3 superconducting candidates. And let's take a moment to think about what we have already achieved so far. So in less than 3 weeks, our team has built scientifically rigorous skills and tools and coupled it to ScienceClaw and build this multi-step computational workflow. So while it took, actually considerable work for us to develop and implement the scientifically high-fidelity tools and skills, it's actually available to you to use almost effortless. So think about the future ahead from 2 different levels. At the personal level, OpenClaw is more than just your general assistant. Actually, you can pair the OpenClaw with any of the domain skills so that you can let the OpenClaw to do the domain-specific task. For example, in this case, we are asking the OpenClaw to drive the ScienceClaw to do superconductivity. And now you can trigger the scientific investigation from your app. And ScienceClaw is your personal science assistant. Well, beyond enhancing the personal efficiency, at the societal level, by having the agent sharing their research on platforms such as Infinite, we can bring superconductivity research available to everyone's hand. And in the long run, we aim to democratize science, giving everyone the access to meaningful and rigorous research. And I'd like to thank my advisor, Professor Venkata Viswanathan, and the group, especially Andrew, Jeki, Hongshuo, and Hanchen. I cannot see you in the audience. Thank you. And the support from MICD and MIT's team. And it's my great honor to close today's demo session as a student at the University of Michigan. So, as always, go blue. Thank you.
Thank you, Chong-Win. Everyone, let's give it up one more time for the incredible 11 demonstrations that we had here at ClawCon today, Ann Arbor. Awesome event, and I hope you guys all were able to take hopefully one thing from each of the 11. But at this time, I'd like to open up the networking portion of our event here today. And for that, I'd like to welcome Michael Galpert back to the stage.
Anyways, thanks everybody for coming out tonight. Hopefully you have time now. The stadium's open to make new friends, talk about what you heard, what you saw, what you're inspired by. And thanks again. Go Blue.